Hi guys, long time no see. In this video I'm going to be going over some advice for the media NEA, which stands for non-exam assessment, and it's like the coursework part, so it's the third of the grade, and that's for like media A-level. I do apologise because this video was requested like 6 months ago, but I've genuinely been like super busy with university, and I only just finished my last exam yesterday, so I finished with first year for good. But that was only yesterday, so now I'm like, okay, I need to get on this now. And I know some of you guys had exams yesterday, so I hope that really went well and it's all going good. So yeah, I'm gonna go through a walkthrough of my media NEA. Now do bear in mind that the media NEAs are completely different for different schools, they're different for different years, so this is more like a guide as to what kind of thing you need to do. I also did want to mention that my grade was not the highest. I don't actually remember what my grade was, but when I go back home I can find out and put it in the comments. It wasn't great, and I'll get into that in a second as well. I'm going to take you through my NEA production. Firstly, this is my initial kind of production pack kind of thing. We had to make a PowerPoint in order to show our planning and research. So my brief is a cross-media production to market and promote and film in a genre or subgenre/hybrid of your choice, and for a large content producing streaming service such as Netflix or Disney Plus, targeting a mainstream audience of 16 to 25-year-olds with an interest in your chosen genre. So immediately I'd be flagging the words market and promote, this is something you want to sell. Then I'd be flagging the words large content and mainstream audience, because they're asking you to specifically target a mainstream audience and appeal to a wide audience rather than a niche small audience. And then also I'd be flagging the words 16 to 25-year-olds. They've given you that target audience there, and that's really helpful because that needs to basically shape your marketing material. So I began by doing some research into potential genres that I was interested in. I did drama first. I looked at the conventions. I looked at the marketing for those, and then so the marketing, as you can see, you've got film premieres, you've got trailers, you've got theatrical posters, you've got release posters. Then I did the same thing for coming of age, as this is my favourite genre, but I don't think I ended up going for this genre. And then last but not least, romance genre. Okay, and then I looked at streaming services, so I did a bit of research to the mainstream streaming services that were mentioned. So I looked at Netflix and Disney Plus, and I looked at some key films that had been produced by these two streaming platforms. And then I looked at And then I think we were given a specific task to do some genre research on analysing film posters. So this was not really related to my actual specific NEA, but it was still helpful because it allowed us to pick out the conventional aspects and iconography of subgenres. And here you can see I was doing action, adventure, and sci-fi. And then in class we were given these DVD covers in order to kind of analyse them. And then I think the most important thing we had to do was we had to do research. So I created a little Microsoft form where I would give I would ask questions, and I sent this out to I think my year group and my sixth form, and just ask people hey, please could you just take some time to fill in my survey for my media NEA. And as you can see, I got lots of statistics which essentially just shaped how I kind of how I answered my NEA. Then I did some evaluation of my survey, and I also looked at some secondary research. So the previous slide would be called primary research, this would be secondary research. This was just information I was finding online. And then I looked at some website research because we had to make a website for our NEA, and this website research basically just allowed me to get an understanding of what different film websites look like. And this is my favourite film, so. Okay, so then we move on to planning. This is my kind of mood board where I'm thinking about all the different elements in mise en scène of my film poster. and this is called a treatment. So this is almost just like a kind of what we had to do in order to do the initial planning. Then we got the acts, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And here we have a storyboard. These are draft pictures I took just to get an understanding of what I wanted to do, but they're not my final pictures at all. More draft pictures. And I did a little sketch here because I think that this was a bit helpful in order to get an idea. I just drew this and then I scanned it in. And here is my draft poster. It's a bit crap, but it was just simply to get an idea of what I wanted to do. It's not great by any means. Okay, then this is my draft of my teaser release poster. And here is my statement of aims. So we had to do like a statement of aims. I believe it was 250 words. And we almost just had to say like, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is my inspiration. This is what I'm trying to achieve. And then I did a shot list and an image plan. This is all my kind of text. So we had to put this in here, but your teacher will tell you if you need to or not. And then my links for the graphics. And that is it. Final completed DVD cover. I'm honestly quite proud of it. I think it's quite good. I chose not to include many faces, but yeah, this was all the stuff we had to include. Like there were specific things like a quote, like logos, like a barcode, age rating, things like that were things that we had to include. Then this is my teaser poster. As you can see, there's not much on here because it's meant to be like a teaser almost. Again, I tried to follow that theme of the iconography with the key. And this is my theatrical release poster. I'm not so proud of this one, but I don't think it's awful. And as you can see again, I've done like the iconography of the key on the T of the title. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the last thing, which is the website. So we had to create a website just to showcase our film. So this is mine. So I've got the title, just this, and then we had to have like a link that worked. So this one just takes you to the Disney Plus website. And when you scroll down, you've got this, exclusive updates and all the social medias and things. Obviously they aren't real, but it's just for show, I think. Then I've got the locations. I have taken off the locations just for obvious reasons. But so I had so we could either do a character subsection or a location one, and I chose to do locations because it was very important to my film. I did some writing, put some photographs in there, and then this actually had the real location before. Okay, and this was made on Wix, and last but not least, I'm going to show you my interview that we had to do, which I absolutely hate, but we had to do this interview from the director's perspective with someone interviewing them. So I got my dad to interview me, and as you can see, like I had the background there.
Today we are joined with Emily Smith, director of The Key. So Emily, talk to me about the film.
The film surrounds the life of two childhood best friends who spend each day in their local forest during the summer. Once they find a hidden magical key, conflict arises and they're forced to work together in order to restore the forest.
And can you tell us more about the location of the film?
Yeah, I was inspired by my upbringing in the countryside, so we shot in a small village located in main locations over the course of 6 weeks.
And what was working with Camille Fleur like?
She was an absolute pleasure to work with. Camille is such a talented, kind individual. The cast are all very close-knit and we quickly bonded.
Thank you, Emily.
Okay, so it only had to be like 45 seconds. It was quite short, but yeah. Okay, so in terms of advice, I will just say now, for my grade, the reason why I think it wasn't as I expected is because I did not properly understand the brief, and I didn't understand the brief. So if you don't know, the brief is like the little instruction where it's telling you what to do. And for mine, it was obviously make a mainstream film advertisement thing, marketing, and I did not do that because, like, if you look at my poster, it looks very much like an independent film. So essentially I was just making the brief into what I wanted it to be, which is not really what you're supposed to do. So don't do that. So that's my first piece of advice. Study the brief, make sure you understand it completely. You know, look at the keywords. You'll have opportunities for planning and for like the initial kind of stages, and when you do, just make the most of those in-class sessions. Get feedback from your teachers, make sure you're doing the right thing, get feedback for your drafts, your initial plans. Yeah, just get as much feedback as you can before you start the actual thing, because your teachers are allowed to look at it. And then another thing my teacher did was she gave us a checklist of everything that we needed to do. And if you have been given one of those, that's very good. If not, maybe ask for one. I don't know if that was just my teacher or a general thing, but it was really helpful because it meant that I could just tick off everything that I needed in my NEA. Also, be creative. Like, you don't have to necessarily do a completely original. You can take some inspiration, as long as it's not like a knockoff of another film. You can take some inspiration from other films. Like, you're not going to get marked down for that, so you don't have to be like incredibly creative to do well on this, but some degree of creativity is very much useful. You don't need a professional camera. I know some briefs are like music videos, some briefs are like make a short film, but for me personally it was do the advertising for a film but not actually make the film. I think that's all my advice. I can't really remember much from the NEA, and I don't have much like content to remember it, and it was like literally 2 years ago now, or like 1 year ago or something. So if you have any questions, put them down below. I will try my best to answer. If I don't know the answer, then I'll redirect you somewhere else. Yeah, I hope that really helped. I think that's covered all of the Media Comp 1, 2 and the NEA. And if you are still doing media studies and you still have the Component 2 exam left, then let me know, because I have the Quizlet flashcards that I've made for both components, all the theories, all the key terms from the glossaries that you need for all the exams, and obviously the sets text is specific to me. If you haven't already watched my media advice video, go and watch it, I recommend. And you can come back here and let me know if you have any more kind of things you want me to cover. Thank you guys and good luck.